It. All right, what's going on, everyone? You are now tuned into Locker Room Talk with Chris and Michael. This is episode 4. Man, we're currently rolling right now. Time is flying, and we love it, because we always say sports never stop, man, and sports do not sleep. So let's get right into it. As always, I'm here with my guy, Michael. Man, what's going on?
What's going on, Chris? How's it going, man? Episode 4, season 2. I'm ready.
Jumping into it, man. You already know the vibes. Let's get straight into today's lineup. All right, dude. So we're opening up the show with some huge news developing in the soccer world. Some of the biggest names in soccer world announced they were joining the European Super League, which could drastically change, the whole landscape of soccer as we all know it. Right now, it's probably the most controversial topic in sports. So let's just go ahead and just give like some brief background knowledge on it and let us know how you're feeling about it.
Right. So as we just, this is over the past 48 hours is what we found, right? That's been uncovered and just been out there for the world to see. So it's called Super League. It's the European Super League, which is the logo is very similar to the Champions League. Right. Very similar. And it's about, it has 12. Well, we'll get to it, but it started off with initially 12 super teams, which are probably the most popular teams in Europe and most likely around the world, aside from like Bayern Munich and maybe PSG, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the teams that initially started, it was the top 6 from England. If we know, it's Liverpool, it's Man United, it's Arsenal, it's Man City. Am I missing one? It's Chelsea and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Top 6. Those are pretty much the ones we tune in on the weekend to watch, right?
Right.
From Spain, it's the top 3, which is Real Madrid, whose president Florentino Perez is the chairman or the president of the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Real Madrid, it's Barcelona, and it's Atletico Madrid, top 3. From Italy, we have I think we say the top, essentially also the top 3, right, which is Juve, it's Juventus, it's Inter Milan, and it's AC Milan, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see, that's 3. That's the 12. Those are the 12 teams. And then they wanted to add an extra, I'm thinking that's 12. They wanted to add an extra 13 to be 15 founders, right? With the total being 20, which he said, Florentino quotations, he said, we would invite 5 clubs. I don't know. There's a lot to read, but they said they would invite 5 clubs if they win their domestic league, and then they would sort it out who they would invite into their Super League that would be played on weekdays every weekend. Right. Every weekday. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? And what does that mean for the Champions League, right? I feel like we already have the Champions League, which I think is in my opinion, it's probably the best soccer tournament in the world, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Right up there with the World Cup. But that's just the concept of what the Super League wants to be. It wants to be a top league where there's these top 15 dogs. They're the money makers. They're the ones that everybody tunes in. They're the ones that they buy the jerseys, and exactly. Essentially they got the top players. So I want to get your thoughts, Chris, on what do you think, and do you think I'll let you know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I want to get your thoughts first. Do you think it's a good or a bad idea having this Super League going on?
Oh no, I think it's a bad idea. Just right off the bat, like you mentioned, the whole Champions League during the week and everything, that's just what us, soccer or football fans are accustomed to. And I just feel like it's already going to bump heads, and those teams wouldn't be able to play in the Champions League or Europa League or anything like that anymore. So right off the bat, that is just a bad idea. And then very briefly, I'll get into it more later after you give your side, but I just feel like it's a bad idea. The concept as a whole is a bad idea from the fan standpoint of the side of the game. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
You know what? I think it's also a bad idea. It's a bad idea for, first of all, for the people who enjoy the product, which is like us fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think for the football fan, it's kind of degrading the sport, because FIFA and UEFA has came out to say like, hey, if these teams want to form their own Super League, well, we're gonna kick them out of our tournaments.
Yep.
And these players who were joined are like I said, that they have the top dog players, best players in the world, Now imagine a World Cup without Messi, without Ronaldo, without Salah, without Mane, without Aubameyang, without who else on Fernandez, Cavani,
Yeah.
all the top
All the
dogs,
big names. Yeah.
all the big names. Imagine a World Cup without them. Imagine European qualifiers without them. It's messy, And like I
Game would
said,
just be different.
it'll be different. And I was reading here and I was talking to some other colleagues and stuff that, oh, maybe it's a good idea, like it's taking the power from the UEFA, it's taking money from FIFA and giving it right to the clubs and something. And then I started thinking, I'm like, all right, I can see it, it's giving more money to the clubs and whatnot, less
Yeah.
power to these people who control, right, UEFA and FIFA, who control and take all the money. I get it. But then also I'm like, dude, these clubs already have a bunch of money.
Exactly.
These soccer players, I was reading, with the money that they have, say you, Chris, you play for Juve, you're going to join the Super League. You already make $10 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Super League, the club is going to get the money directly from the media, directly from these contracts that, the contracts say we watch Serie A on ESPN, right?
Yeah.
ESPN pays, or whatever ESPN network, I think they're bought by Disney. Disney pays Serie UEFA a certain amount of money, or I think it's the leagues. They pay the league a certain amount of money, and then that money is dispersed to the teams. So that means you play for Juve. Juve is going to get this amount of money paid by Disney. So say Disney pays $1 billion to broadcast Serie A. From those $1 billion, the money's going to Juve, money's going to Inter, money's going to Napoli, money's going to, to the even worse team, Sassuolo,
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I was reading is that these big the team in the Super League, they're getting mad because they produce what is it? The most entertainment, they have the best players, people tune in to watch them. They feel like they should get more money. You know what I'm saying? And I can see that's a little greedy, like corporate greed, bro. I'm like, bro, just you're already popular and you already make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You want to make more money. It's a business, but it's the fan that gets hurt. And for us here in the U.S., so I want to touch on it. As in the U.S., the Super League is very Americanish kind of style.
Right.
Franchise, no
Mm-hmm.
relegation. These founders, even if you suck, you'll be there again next year.
Yes.
It's kind of like a lot of American sports, and it's kind of, they're trying to explain this motto, this concept to the Europeans who have never set foot in the United States or don't follow European or American sports. Because we grew up in here, so we know how the NBA works. We know how the NFL works, NHL. We even know how the MLS works.
Mm-hmm.
We know that, if the Jacksonville Jaguars don't win a game, it's all right. They'll be there next year.
And they get the top pick.
On the contrary, they get rewarded for being the last team. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it kind of like, does it take the fun out of soccer? I think it does for them. For us, I think so too. I think it would be fun if American sports had some type of relegation. I know, I get it. I think NBA set with their 32 teams. There's 32 teams, right? Or 30?
I think it's 30.
30? NFL has 32, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one
or the other.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. If the Jacksonville Jaguars have the worst team, there's no other team who can come up. There's no team who can like take their spot, right?
But they could be, though. It's just like you said, we're just accustomed to it. Potentially could be.
Yeah. Just like the MLS. That's why people don't take the MLS seriously.
Yeah. Just think about it. Like if there's American football in Mexico. A lot of people don't know that. Most people just think of like the Canadian Football League. Like, what if one of these Mexican teams gets promoted, or this Canadian football teams gets promoted, and the freaking Niners go down to Mexico? Like,
right?
You never know, dude. I mean, it seems funny, like from an American standpoint,
exactly,
because we're like, oh, that would never happen. Like the Niners playing in Mexico, no way. But I mean, over there, they're not used to the penalty.
And also, so to simplify it for the people who are not aware with the relegation, promotion, this type of rules in soccer, in European soccer, and actually soccer all around the world, just think about, this is what these teams wanted to do, right? This is what these 12 super teams wanted to do. Just think about, imagine the Cowboys, the Niners, the Steelers, the Patriots. Give me another historic franchise. the Packers.
Packers. Yeah.
I'll probably throw the Bears in there because
Mhm.
they're pretty historic. Just
Yep.
think of those 6 teams. They're like, you know what? We still want to play NFL, but we're gonna do our own thing. We're gonna play our own little.
Yeah, we got our own league. Like,
We got our own league,
mhm.
and if you win the Super Bowl, we'll invite you.
Yeah.
We'll invite you for half a season, and then if you're
Mhm.
last, then you got to go. We got to kick you out and bring in the next Super Bowl winner.
Yep. And it's like,
That's
even if you win the Super Bowl, you're better than us, and we suck. We're still gonna stay. You might not stay.
exactly. It's like say, and then those 6, right? And then Kansas City wins, so they'll invite Kansas City into this mini tournament
Yep.
that they'll probably play during the week or whatever. They'll do it,
Mhm.
and say Kansas City wins or is ahead of the Niners, right? They say out of those 6 teams, Kansas City is doing better than San Francisco. They're still going to kick out Kansas City because the
Exactly.
Niners are one of the 6 founding teams.
Mhm. So they're
So
guaranteed to
just
stay.
guaranteed to stay. You can suck. You cannot win any game. You'll still be fine. You'll still get money. That's what these teams are trying to do. And it takes away the beauty of the Champions League. It takes the beauty of the domestic leagues.
Yep.
A lot of people throw this example around the Leicester City story.
Mhm.
Because you're aware of the Leicester City story.
Yep.
They were 3,000 to 1 odds to win the league when they won it a couple years ago.
It was more likely for the fans. It was more likely for Kim Kardashian to become president than Leicester City to win the league.
Exactly. Look at that stat, bro. And Kim Kardashian didn't even run for president.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it with this new Super League, it will take that away. Actually, well, it won't take it away because Leicester could still be champion of the Premier League.
Right.
They just won't have Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham, and Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
They could still be champions. They just won't have those 6 teams. And the whole point is to beat those top dogs. It's fun, bro. It's fun to watch. I know you're an Arsenal fan. But I like seeing them struggling like in 10th and 11th.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny to watch,
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to watch how Liverpool almost scored 100 points last year. And this year they're barely trying to get into 4th.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of the sport. And with this, they're taking it. All right. In this case, Arsenal is not even in Champions League
exactly
this year. Liverpool's on the break of not getting into. Same with Chelsea. They're fighting for that 4th spot, that last 4th spot to Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. I mean, I've been reading comments from players, ex-players, from analysts,
coaches have spoken out.
It's just, it doesn't work. It kind of takes out the competitiveness and the, what's the word I'm looking for here? It takes away like the emotion, the raw emotion,
Right.
Like I mentioned earlier, for us and growing up in the United States from being little and, thankfully we were exposed to soccer and abroad. We know how that works, but we also know how American sports work. And this new Super League will be kind of run like a capitalist American league. There's no relegation. Yeah, there's the winner, but hey, if you're last place, here's the first draft pick in any sport.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit, we can be last. Think about it, bro. There's fans who are like, tank for Fields or tank for Trevor. You actually want your team?
Yeah, they want to lose.
Compared to in the Premier League, bro. If you're one of the bottom 3, you're gonna play in the 2nd division, bro. That's like, it's like if we're like in the last place, if we were the Jaguars, if the Jaguars were last, it's like, hey, you're getting booed to the Canadian League.
Yeah, you could still keep going down too. Like if you're not doing good in the 2nd division. Yeah. The Jaguars, the Browns, those people would be like 8th division already.
8th division, man. So like if we had a 2nd league, NFL or even that Canadian league, so hey, Jags were the last place team. They're gonna be relegated to the Canadian. They gotta go play Canadian teams.
Yeah,
and we're gonna bring in the Edmonton Capitals or whatever Canadian football teams.
And then it's like from there, okay, you suck in the CFL. Hey, you're going to Mexico. Hey, you suck in Mexico. You're going to the XFL. Suck in XFL. You're going to arena football. Like it's just like that domino effect that American sports do not have.
So exactly. So they want to run this Super League kind of like an American franchise league, and most of a couple of these teams have some American owner root.
Yes,
the Glazer family, man.
A lot of them.
I know Kroenke, Arsenal.
Yeah,
and Liverpool's owned by Red Sox.
The Fenway
organization
group.
Exactly. These guys are billionaires, man. Like. Yep. They just want more money. And think about it. These companies, these media companies who are going to broadcast it, because people are going to tune in, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like for example, for people like me, like us, I'll tune in. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it
If it
definitely.
were to happen, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because it's gonna be there. And
Yeah.
who's gonna argue watching Real Madrid versus Liverpool, or Liverpool versus Barcelona on a weekly basis? No
Yeah.
one's gonna miss out on that
hmm
unless you're from these countries where they don't like that. The point
Right.
is to win. It's like you play to win. If you win, you get rewarded by going into this tournament. You know what I mean? Which is the Champions League or Europa League. If you don't perform, there's going to be repercussions. You're going to
Exactly.
be relegated,
hmm
and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. See, I think we see both sides just because, like we said, the Americanized fashion that we watch, every day, but
Exactly.
also that the Madrid versus Liverpool example you gave, like that's like a dream matchup that we want to see because that's something that we don't get to see a lot. We get to see only in the Champions League,
Mhm.
in the groups or round of 16. And that would just be a week in and week out basis. So of course, us not being accustomed to it, like that's something that we're going to want to watch week in and week out. And I
Mhm.
doubt people, even the ones who are not like completely 100% against it, I guarantee you they're going to watch too. But it's just it's taken away from the fan side of the game. And like you said, pretty much all the points that you're hitting on, that's the same thing. Because at first I was like, I was on like 50-50, like, okay, do I support it? Do I not? But then I
Mhm.
started thinking a little bit outside the box, and like you said, like these big teams, like for example, Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, I think even Tottenham, they have American roots. So
Mhm.
you got Kroenke is in Arsenal. You got the Glazer family. You said you got Chelsea is run by the chairman Bruce Buck, American,
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
I think because the owner is Russian in
Uh huh.
Chelsea, but it's run by the chairman Bruce Buck. And then for Tottenham, they have Joe Lewis who helps run it, and I'm pretty sure he's American.
Of
So
course.
I'm thinking, okay, so that's what I'm thinking. Okay, it's all these American roots, just like everything that we put together. But then I took it a step further. I dug into some stuff. I'm like, okay, Kroenke, as you said, he just doesn't own Arsenal. He owns Arsenal. He owns the LA Rams, the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Avalanche, and the Colorado Rapids. Just him and his
Oh
wife,
my
right?
God! I knew
Okay.
he owned an MLS
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Okay. Then you got Liverpool's owned by the Fenway Sports Group, who also own the Boston Red Sox. You mentioned the Glazer family. They own Manchester United and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I did
So
not know that.
it's a pattern of these owners and like the higher ups. Like it's real common, as we said, it's just these American roots that. And I also heard some media names saying like a guy personally, I didn't realize it until digging and thinking about it today. But they're
Mhm.
like, you brought all these people into Europe and they're giving them ownership and what they're used to. Like, what did you expect? You basically invited them and said, like, hey,
Exactly.
we know this is gonna happen, but like it's only a matter of time. I feel like
Exactly.
I feel like something we hear every day in the sports media world, and honestly even we're guilty of saying it because it's just pounded into our brains on a daily basis, is that every sport, no matter it's basketball, football, baseball, when something like big trade deadline news happens, we're like, oh man, like why did they trade him? Like the Mookie Betts are like, why did they trade him?
Mhm.
It's a business, man. Like that's what it is. And I feel like soccer or football, however you want to call it, it was never a business. It's always been like the fans' game. It's always been like a working classes
Class.
game, and it's getting that. This is what it's going to take away from it.
Mhm.
Like you said, no relegation. I know Pep touched on it, and he said for the no relegation thing, like, what did you get these teams that are just being terrible and they're bottom feeders, and it's like, well, we're locked in. It doesn't matter. So
Exactly.
it's just the I know it's repetitive, but it's the American side of sports that is leaking into Europe right now.
And it's showing, bro, the outcry, bro. Like you said,
hmm
just like we saw at the beginning of the show, we're born here, we're raised in American culture or American sports culture. We're used to it. We're used to like, man, the Niners are 2-14 again.
Yeah.
Fuck. But there's no repercussion. On the contrary, we're gonna get the second or the first round pick.
hmm
You know what I mean? So, but the fans in Europe, this is why, like, for example, I'll use myself for example. When I used to go to Mexico, and we would see our cousins in Mexico, And now we're talking about like, oh yeah, the Niners and like, oh, you know, with the Giants, and there's like, and they're like, wow, dude, like these sports, like they're kind of boring.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like they're kind of boring. Like you guys have like you can suck and like you'll be in the league again.
Yep.
And they're like, I'm like, well, yeah. I'm like, what? They're like, so that's why like you said, the Cronkies, the Glazers, the
Hmm.
Bucks of like they invited them into these working class teams, families, players, families,
Hmm.
communities. You invited these billionaires who run franchises as a business model, so they're just in it for money.
Yep.
Like you just said, hey, they switched the player, they transferred the player, they sold the player. It's a business,
And
you
like we
know.
just touched on last week, like this could also be a reason why the MLS is such a shitty league too.
It's such a shitty league.
Hmm.
Nobody cared. This would be like a glorified MLS.
Yeah,
Think
pretty
about it. It
much
would be a glorified MLS with the
with
top,
big names. Yeah.
big name, big teams. Like just like Pep said, bottom feeders, bro. You could suck during the Super League series, and it's all right, bro. You'll be back next season. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
You know, you're gonna catch that $200 million check. And also, who's gonna fund this league, bro? It's an American bank, J.P. Morgan Chase, bro. I
Yeah.
think they're gonna dump in $6 billion. That's a lot of money.
That's a shit ton of money.
That's a lot of money. Like I said, if you're already paying somebody 10 million, you're getting directly this 250 million, 250 million dollar check just to be in the
Hmm.
league.
Yeah.
They can hold on to their players. And what do the players do? Do they stay with the team, or do they and risk not playing a World Cup, not playing a Euro, not playing any type of FIFA tournament? Do they risk that, or they make money? I was watching, I was actually listening to a podcast earlier today. It's called Señorad podcast. It's the Spanish podcast, and they were saying like, well, that's a good idea for like the players. And I'm like, man, I don't agree with these guys, you know? Kind of just listen, like, well, you're gonna make money, you're gonna make double what you already make.
Right.
Honestly, for anybody, it's like, all right, cool, you know, I'm gonna get double if I stay here. Fuck it, you
Hmm.
know. But it just it takes away from the fans, bro. Like we work and we do our own thing, right? But
Hmm.
these guys are in a like, you know, are in a social bubble, bro. They're like in a public bubble. If
Right.
you like for the Salahs of the team, Salah gives hope to how many Egyptians and North Sub-Saharan African
Hmm.
uh, boys and girls.
Exactly.
And now if you rip that for away from him, these guys are not going to be able to watch him when he comes playing Egypt for his national team.
Hmm.
It's just it's a shitty situation. It's these guys, these billionaires, just trying to run these teams like a business when it's not really. It was never like that. You know, it was a working class team, and kind of how Bayern Munich and Dortmund didn't want to join because
Yeah.
they're owned by the people. They're owned by um, what's the word I'm looking for? They're owned by the people, but they have like shares.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
they're owned by shares, so they voted on not going into the Super League. And that's what it is, man. It's just a crazy thing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. And now you got these teams that they're dropping out. You know, you got there's been what how many teams have been dropped out? I know they said Arsenal,
All
Liverpool.
six, all
Yeah,
six,
all six of them was it?
all
Okay.
six EPL. And right now, I got a notification that the first Italian team has dropped out. Inter.
Yeah, see? And I feel like it's because of all the backlash they've received within these last 48 hours, you know,
Mhm.
all social media has been going crazy, but look at the people that actually live in Europe and they're going down to the stadiums and they're boycotting with the banners and the signs. And, you know, today I saw pictures on social media of
Mhm.
the airplane flyovers with the banners, you know, no
Oh,
to the Super
interesting.
League. Like they're going all out. And I feel like they're realizing if these fans who have supported us are not going to support us, like it's basically going to be nothing. I mean, yeah, the rich get richer, but it's not going to be the same without the fan support. With you taking away the passion, you know, all these people that watch and this is their life. Like the documentaries that we've touched on, the Tottenham one and the other one that we touched on. It's like they talk about like, yeah, I may not have much money for Christmas gifts, but like my son is going to be happy going to the stadium with me. Like this is their life, dude. Like they live and breathe this. Like to put it into perspective, like us American people are like, okay, you know, these Boston fans are crazy. They love sports, you know, the Celtics, the Patriots, or like the Yankees, Dodgers fans, like oh, they're on a whole nother level. You better not mess up now, dude. You're down here, and all these clubs in Europe, they're crazy. They live and breathe their clubs, dude. So I feel like that's kind of what started it. The backlash from that they're receiving from the public and the outcry, and they just said like, dude, we got to pull the plug.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's just like these guys are already rich, bro, and they're like at the expense of not just the fans, but like the communities, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many like you gotta like it's a domino effect. Like you're not affecting just the fans of Arsenal or the fans of Chelsea, but you're affecting not just like imagine how much money or how much revenue it may these like lower town cities when Man United visits Burnley.
Exactly.
All these people come out
Mm-hmm.
and support Burnley and they spend money and they're out there. Like that's their form of entertainment, bro. Like,
Yep.
dude, this is our chance to see Rashford. This is our chance to see De Gea. This is our chance to see your boy Maguire.
I know you did not just go there.
Anyways,
God.
so you're taking away that from these lower level clubs who honestly, bro, I'm always rooting for the upsets. I'm always rooting for upsets, bro. People also were saying in the Champions League, they're like, oh, the Champions League's boring during group stage. But it's like, bro, if you're a soccer fan, bro, you'll watch.
You appreciate it.
I'm gonna watch the Salzburg or the BF Young Boys against Real Madrid. I'm gonna watch it because I'm gonna root for the underdog.
Yep.
I'm gonna root for Malmo FF from trying to play Barca. I'm gonna root for the underdog. And people are like, oh well, nobody really cares. Bro, everybody tunes in, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody tunes in. That's the beauty of the sport of like, dude.
That's why it's getting the coverage in America.
Exactly.
That's why, because everyone's tuning in.
And that's just it's so disappointing watching this. But I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen, and we keep the soccer structure that we have currently because it works, bro. Most popular sport in the game. It's the sport that you can literally,
never
pick
stops,
up, never
year
stops,
round.
dude. Year round. You can play at any time. You can use a ball of socks to play as a ball, and you can use 2 cones or the edge of a table and use it as a goal. I mean, it's the people's game, bro. It's the people's game, and they're taking it away from the people.
Yeah, I mean, I know if the listeners out here are just not fans of soccer or not fond of soccer, it's up here compared to everything else in terms of viewership, fans. It's the world's game. So
it's the world's game, man. And like you said, for our listeners who don't watch soccer or know anything, sorry, I know it might sound like gibberish, but kind of like how we just put it in perspective, bro. It's like if you take the top 5 teams from the NBA or the top 6 teams from the NFL, and they're like, you know what, we'll still play NFL, but we're gonna do our own league over here.
Yeah, and in terms of like the financial side of it, like I know we talked about Kroenke, how he owns all these teams right now. It would be like the equivalent of Jerry Jones being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go over here and do this so I can make more money for myself.
That's right,
because he's the top, one of the top richest franchise in the world in all sports, not just NFL.
That's crazy.
He's up there, and like I think he's $4 billion, if not more, for the Cowboys franchise.
That's nuts.
And Stan Kroenke alone is worth $8 billion. So the rich are trying to get richer, dude. Like to think that these people have that amount of money and are
scary.
Still trying
it's
to
disgusting.
Get more. I mean, yeah, of course you always want to try and better yourself, but
right,
man, at the extent of the people and who love the game and who support you and give you most of your profit and your revenue, and you're just trying to do them dirty.
I think it's dirty, right? It's dirty how like these billionaires, like these owners of the team, they didn't even consult it with like the players. They didn't like, hey man, like what do you guys think if we're gonna do this our own league? You're our current players right now. What do you guys? Or the coach? Hey man, what are your guys' thoughts? We're gonna join Real Madrid, Barca, Juventus, some other Prem teams. We're gonna join together to make a super league. What do you guys think? Nah, dude, they're like, hey, by the way, we're joining this league in August.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
And they're like, what the fuck? And I think just also the outcry of their own players, like, hey man, like we don't agree this. We're with the fans. And like, bro, yeah, they can always put some extra money in their pocket if they join this new league. But bro, come on, man, you're already making 80 mil a year. I honestly, bro, soccer players, I think make the most money in sports. Gareth Bale's making
Mhm.
500,000 a week.
Yeah,
500,000 a week, Chris, bro.
and that's Bale.
And that's Bale, and he doesn't even play. He
Hmm.
likes to play golf. Five hundred
Yep.
thousand a week, bro.
Yep.
Like what? Imagine, bro, you get paid weekly, 500K, boom.
What do you even do with that kind of money, dude?
And even like the lower level players, bro, they make maybe 10K a week.
Yep.
It's like,
They're just living life. You've seen the lifestyle of Benzema,
you
Kareem,
see, bro, come on, bro.
Bugattis on Bugattis.
Bro, he's got French Montana in his pocket, bro.
Yep.
If he's like, yeah, I want French Montana, before he just hits him up and French Montana pulls up because they're
They're
from
boys.
Morocco, the
Yeah.
boys. That's nuts, man. But that's what it is. That's the Super League in a nutshell, bro. I don't know. Do you have any more comments on the Super League?
And now we're just real quick. I know teams that we're saying these teams are pulling out. I don't know if you heard, but Perez was like, you know what? They already signed the contract. Like they can't pull out. Like we already got the signatures. And he was like, we're all gonna work together and we'll figure something out.
Who said that? Oh, Florentino.
Yeah, he said it today. But I mean,
I think
I doubt it's true, but it's making headlines right now.
it can get messy, man. It can get
Yeah.
super messy. Legal battles, bro. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
you signed, or it can be. And then, so you're right. Some teams already are wanting to pull out. And then I also read today, Florentino, just a couple hours ago, I guess they had a meeting, and Florentino said, the Super League is going to continue even without these 6 teams.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so who's he going to play? Who's he going to play against?
Yeah, he's gonna try and figure something out, dude. It's just greed. That's all they're trying to go for right now.
It's just like it's very elitist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, only us can play, but if you're Burnley, you can't come in here. By the way,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
if you're Napoli, you can't come in here.
And I did see some people commenting like, well, UF is like that too. Like, you only the top four from the domestic leagues make it. I'm like, yeah, but that's not saying like these set four are going to be in here and that's it. It's the top four. You got a chance to fight for it. So I agree. UF is about money too, but everyone's got their fair shot.
Everybody, that's the thing. It is about greed, and maybe that's what's got to change. That's what's got to change. The power at the top. Why is UEFA holding off to all this money and not distributing it to everybody?
Yeah.
But yeah, all the top 4 teams of each domestic league make it. But at least you have a shot, bro. If you're a little Burnley, if you're a little Leicester, if you get into the top 4, you're gonna get into the Champions League.
Your chances might be slim, but they're still alive.
They're still alive,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's just a very interesting topic to touch on. And on another humorous note, I did see like a meme today that was like, oh, wait till 20 years down the line when I'm talking to my grandkids about football or soccer, and they're like, they're gonna tell me that Messi and Ronaldo were washed because they played against farmers that weren't in the Super League. Shit, I was just like, hey,
come on, man.
Like, dude, these kids are gonna have no idea if this thing goes forward.
Hopefully it doesn't happen. It's worked for over 100 years, bro. It's worked, right? The system they have going on over there, it's worked. People show up, they watch, they support, they cry, they celebrate. It's been working. Why change that, man?
Yeah.
And I get it.
Don't fix it.
Don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now with this, I think this kind of in a good way, this shook up UEFA and FIFA. Like, oh shit, without we're nothing without these top clubs.
Right.
They're pretty much the money makers, the breadwinners.
Mm-hmm.
Now what they could do is that these top teams can probably be like, hey, share the wealth, spread the wealth, man.
Mm-hmm.
We make you all this money. It's kind of like, I kind of look at it also in a perspective of like NCAA sports. These colleges make these players, not even the colleges, the players make these schools a bunch of money, bro. But they don't want to pay the players. Pay them something.
Yeah.
But they don't. Kind of shook it up. Hopefully this does the same thing, and we'll see what happens.
Going forward, we'll definitely keep tabs on this. I'm sure this is going to be, another weekly topic that we add to the show's list until things get settled, which who knows when that will be.
Who knows?
But
it just started.
It just started. Last 48 hours, things have been going nuts. So we'll keep tabs on that. And very briefly, this is a brief show, but before we wrap it up, I wanted to get your thoughts. This is our last show that will be recording and posting before the NFL draft takes place. So The Niners are at number 3 overall, as we mentioned. What is your stance? Are you still solid on Fields, or did it change? I know Fields had a second pro day since we last talked. I know Lance has had a second pro day. So, what are your thoughts? Go ahead and share with us.
I think I'm still sold on Fields. I think we should definitely go with Fields. I think he's the more experienced. Up here also, I think he's doing really good. I saw some like statistics that showed that he was the smartest guy on some answers that were asked about him, or a test,
Yeah,
a
because they go
logical
through the
test,
yep.
psychological test. He scored probably the highest grade. I'm sold on him. I know from the earlier from last season of our the season 1, I was sold on Lance,
Right.
but that kind of changed. But hey, he's still my second option.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not Fields, take Lance, groom him to take over like after the season after. But I'm sold on Fields, and I don't know, man. All those people with the blue check marks kind of giving us some shaky words. Now they're saying, "Oh, the Niners are open to Lance and Fields, but they're
Yeah.
still gung ho on Magna."
It's basically just to say they're right either way. Like, I
They're
told
washing
you.
their hands, bro.
Yep.
They're washing their hands. They're gonna be like, when it's not, say it's not Mac Jones, they're gonna be like, see, I told you it could have been Fields or it could have been Lance. We told you.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit, bro. These guys get paid to guess. Put us on the show. We'll guess too.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Anyone can guess.
Man.
I mean, they get paid to do these guesses, these mock drafts every week, and it's the same. One week they're like, "Oh, they're strong on Mac Jones. Mac Jones is the guy." The next week, oh, you know what? They really like Justin Fields. They didn't even Shanahan wasn't impressed with Mac Jones pro day, and then following week, oh, Mac Jones is the guy. I'm like, dude.
Like, I think there was a Mel Kiper, the 4.0. So it's fourth one, right?
Yep.
And now he has Niners taking Fields.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I just want these guys.
But just last week, he was saying on the shows, "Oh, Mac Jones. I have every right to believe that it's Mac Jones. Every reason to believe it's Mac Jones. I know Shanahan, blah blah." But yeah, I'm like, how are these guys so confident and like, "Oh, it's Mac Jones, this blah blah blah." But the Niners camp doesn't leak anything. Like today, I saw like as we just said, 1, we've heard it's Mac Jones. 2, we've heard it's Fields. 3, it's Lance. It's open, blah blah, all this stuff. And today, I heard like the Niners are still undecided. And I'm like, dude, like which one is it?
It's gonna be interesting, bro. It's gonna. Honestly, I don't think I've ever been excited for an NFL draft like this one.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, bro. I've never been like, dude, I'm tuned in. I'm tuned in. I'm following the rumors. I'm following this, that. I don't think I've been this much invested in a draft since.
It's been a long ass time, dude.
I can't remember, bro. I mean, I could say maybe the Deshaun, because I really wanted Deshaun Watson at that point.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I don't think I've ever been excited for an NFL draft like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I will be disappointed if the Niners take Mac Jones.
Yeah, definitely.
That shit will ruin my day.
It's definitely it's Fields. Fields is number 1, Lance is number 2, and option number 3, keep Jimmy. Fuck Mac Jones.
It's like last year. Last year we watched the draft, but I wasn't really like, oh, it's whatever. I'm watching the notifications of who gets picked on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really tuned in. I'm like, the Niners got Kinlaw. I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is, but he's good. Hopefully he's good, right? They know, right?
Yeah,
but this year, bro, this year I'm like, oh shit, dude, because they're gonna put all their chips on this player. So I'm like, dude, if they miss, bro, they're gonna be
on the hot seat for sure.
Shanny should be on the hot seat, bro.
Yep.
We fired Jim Harbaugh for way less.
Yep. And then also Lynch is the GM, so he's already like mandatory on the hot seat too.
He's mandatory on the hot seat
because he missed with the Solly Thomas. So
they're on the hot seat, bro. We have a what's the word I'm looking for? We have a dominant team, bro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we have dominant players on both sides of the ball. And they just need that general. They need that general. I mean, I know it's Jimmy, but he gets hurt, right?
Yeah.
So they need that floor general who's gonna dictate. We got the general on the defense. That's Fred Warner. That's his team, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need it on the offense side.
I think
Kittle can't lead.
My top 4 options, I say, okay, so obviously Fields. If it's not Fields, Lance. If it's not Lance, keep Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Or I would even rather go draft Kellen Mond, but keep Jimmy and
Mhm.
trade it, and then Mac Jones. I'm just not high on Mac Jones, dude. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
I know
should be
people
the
are probably
last
thinking
option, bro.
Kellen Mond, like, are you crazy? Nah, I just don't like Mac Jones, bro. I seen people saying like, you do not trade 3 first-round picks for a third-round talent for Mac Jones.
Absolutely not.
So
Mac Jones would have been there if we would have stayed with our own pick.
realistically,
He would have been there.
I could see him falling to the second round. Unless some teams are just hungry for a quarterback or
I think it's going to be the Patriots, to be honest.
yeah.
I
I
think
think I think the Patriots could be a draft day shocker and trade up to draft a QB. I think I know they said Atlanta is looking to
mhm.
trade their number 4, so I wouldn't be surprised, or even if they trade up to like number 8 or 9.
They can get it. They can trade with the Panthers.
I think definitely they could be one of those people that I will not be shocked if they trade into the top 10 on draft day.
Damn, I can see it happening.
So
I can
a
see it
lot,
happening.
a lot to cover, man. We're what 1 week away, I think, from
We're
the draft, or
1
like
week.
1 week and some change. We got a few days. Today's what's Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's next
It's
Friday,
on the
right?
29th.
Yep.
It's 2 days, Thursday, Wednesday. Is it on a Thursday?
It's on a Friday, I believe.
It's on a Friday. Yeah, it's next week. I mean, next week, pretty much.
Man,
Interesting, bro. Interesting. It's gonna be fun to watch. Like I said, most draft. This is the first draft I'm very, very invested in.
definitely,
So
dude.
let's see what happens.
A lot to keep our eyes on. Definitely, we'll talk some more hoops. I know Steph Curry's been balling. We need to touch on him next week, but we'll
Yeah,
save those thoughts.
yeah. One
Uh,
more thing. One more thing. This is just out of the blue, and I want to get your thought on it real quick. I was watching Sports Center the other day, and I was watching the Dodgers Padres highlights, right?
mhm.
And okay, whatever, it's over. The highlights over, and they're commentating about it. I don't think I've ever put so much attention into in the previous years. I've never put attention to the MLB schedule, and they were saying, "Oh, how many times have the Padres and Dodgers played this year? Two.
Just 3. It was the last series.
So they played 3 games.
Yeah,
3 games." And then I was reading the stat, like how they clear the benches and all that.
yeah, yeah,
And then the analysts on ESPN like, oh, don't worry, if you missed it, you'll be able to see 18 more games of these. And I'm like, what?
yeah, yeah.
No.
Well, they're in the
I
same
was like,
division.
I'm like, there's no way these teams play 20 times, bro. Each
Yeah.
other, no way. And bro, I guarantee, bro, I swear to you, I've never put so much attention. I didn't know how many times the teams play each other. I knew they played each other multiple times,
Mhm.
but I didn't know it was 15 plus.
No, yeah, it's because they're in the same division. So, like for the Dodgers, it's Dodgers, Giants, Padres, Rockies, and Diamondbacks.
Huh.
Those are all the same division. So who they play most of the year. And I don't
Right.
know if things are still different because I know they're doing the full 162 season this
Yeah.
year. I know last year, since it was a 60-game season, and because of the pandemic, they tried to eliminate travel as much as they could. So it was like all the West Coast teams were just playing each other, and it was like all the West Coast teams plus Texas that the Dodgers were playing last year. So, but pandemic or not, you're seeing the same people a lot of times. Like there's times, bro, where they'll play like a 4-game series. It'll be like say Dodgers versus Giants, boom, 4-game series. Then they have 2 games versus the A's. Then boom, 4 more against the Giants. Like
That's nuts, bro. I like I said, I've never put that much attention into a schedule. I just watch the highlights,
yeah,
and then I don't really watch any games during the season until it's like October.
yeah.
That's the time
That's when it gets
fully
hot.
invested.
Yeah.
But just quick question: if you would you shorten the season to how many games? Or would you leave it at 162?
I mean, I think definitely it could benefit from shorting. I mean, I know the players were on board with shorting too. I would say anywhere between like 80 and 100, like max, like 100 max.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they got like the timeline. They call it the Fall Classic and everything like that. So I know it's tradition, but
Right.
I mean, I feel like as a player, I would have mixed emotions because one, I'd be playing, like that's your love, your passion, obviously.
Right.
So you're playing that for most of the year, but then at the same time, you're taking away from your family, from your hobbies, stuff like that. So I think everyone as a whole, from a fan side too, could definitely benefit from a reduction.
Would you like to watch? Would you like to be it more like an NBA schedule or an NFL schedule, where it's like, hey, you got your division and you don't play the Padres 20 times, but you only play them twice, and you got to make it the most. You got to make the best of it. Would you be open to something like that or not? I don't know about. You don't have to. You don't have to answer that today.
No. Real quick before we end it, I think I like where you're going, but I think I would lean more towards the NBA, where like you're playing the division a little bit more. Just because like from Dodger side, like I like that Dodgers Giants rivalry, but I will say though, I would open the idea to more of an NFL style schedule too, where it's like I can play anybody, like yeah, you play the division, but I could play anyone, it's like I could be on the Niners, I'm playing the Cards, the Seahawks, and but at the same time, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to play the Patriots, or I can go to Miami and play the Dolphins, I can be in Cincinnati, where it's just not as repetitive. And I feel like that may be another reason why white people may get bored of it at times, but I don't know, it could be the 162 thing too. Like, dude, that's a long season. They started in
I'm
April.
telling you, bro. I knew they played like 100 plus games. I knew that. But when they were like, hey, you missed it, don't worry. They play each other 18 more times. I was like, no way they play each other 18 more times.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Damn, crazy statistic, bro. That's nuts.
Baseball's on another level, dude. They start in April. It used to be like the last weeks of March, and they don't finish till October, dude.
That's crazy.
That's like a whole ass year. Yeah. But a lot of topics to touch base on.
Definitely.
We touched on that little football note. Last show before the draft, we will definitely be keeping an eye on not just the Niners, but the Raiders. I know we got some Raiders fans that show some love to the show and also want to join the show.
They do. Well, we should definitely invite one so they can tell us how and walk us through that scandalous tweet that the Raiders dropped today. But we'll leave that for another day. We'll leave that for another show. We'll leave it.
We'll leave it for. We'll open up with that next week.
Yes.
Even though it'll be kind of old news, but we'll open up with it just to go back with it, touch on the draft too. That'll probably be our next show. Is unfolding the draft and everything like that.
That's right.
But
breaking down the draft. So our next show is post-draft. After the draft is our next show.
Yeah, because so for the fans who don't know, Michael and I just made a little executive decision. We post weekly, but it was kind of like loose and open just whenever we got around to posting. We're going to start trying with every Monday is going to be the post. So you have something to look forward to. Turn on post notifications, subscribe, let us know. Whatever platform you're on, you'll have something to look forward to every Monday from here on out.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
So pretty much wraps up today's show, man. We appreciate everyone's support.
It's a good show.
Like I said, turn on those notifications, subscribe on every single platform that you listen on. Feel free to hit us with some requests. Maybe season 2, we will see our first guest appearance.
I like that.
Might have to put a few into the works. I know a few that want to join, and if you have anyone that want to join too, let us know, man.
For sure. Sounds good, man.
That's it.
Let's get it. Fun season 2, man. Episode 4.
Very young still. Don't forget to show some love. Our social media accounts will be in the link and will be in the description of the YouTube video. So if you're not listening on YouTube, you know where to find us. We've said it out there plenty of times. So we appreciate the love and support. And that is a wrap for today, my guy.
Perfect, man. Thank you. Great topics.
Yes, sir.
And I'll see you in the next episode.
Next episode, man. We'll see you soon.
Be safe.
Peace out, dog.